Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. Today we are going to start a little mini-series which may turn into a bigger series where I try and provide you guys, new players, more experienced players, whoever, with information about this game. As the title may give away, tips and tricks. So in today's video we are going to be looking at ores, ore distribution, how to find ores, yields from ores, all that good stuff. Basically everything related to ores, materials, and we're also going to mess around with some how to get started early game, where you may have just got off one of these things behind me. So, without further ado, let's rock and roll. And yes, I mean rock and roll in quite a literal sense. So obviously when you first spawn in, you'll spawn in a little capsule. So in the survival kit you can chuck in stone and then go into the production tab, go into the production survival kit, go into the ingots and spam a load of ingots out. And as further ado, it will produce gravel, iron, nickel and silicon. The basic resources to produce pretty much everything in this game. Or simple blocks in this game. So you'll be able to use these resources to basically produce any of the main armor blocks and a lot of other basic components basically. And I always see a lot of people start their survival things and they are mining, running to the ship, depositing it, running back, and, you know, doing that back and forth. I'm a person who have done that in the past. But I was like, there must be a better way. And yes, I found a better way. So, first of all, if you look at the resource requirements of a large grid survival kit and a small grid survival kit, you may notice that the only difference is about 19 steel plates. You need 19 more steel plates to build a large survival kit as you do to build a small one. So when I first start off, the best piece of advice I can give is to try and mine a load of stone, get enough stuff to build a survival kit, a wind turbine, a couple of blocks, but build them close to a mountainside, and then create a structure a little bit like this, funneling yourself in. So that way, what you can do is you can just drill any of this stone. Yeah, you can just drill any of the stone here, anything you like, all of this goodness. And you'll see all of the rocks are going to roll down. As you can guess, this is where the rock and roll bit comes in. They're the rocks and that is the roll. And if you put them all into a collector, they can get collected and stored into a collector, with the actual inventory of a collector block. From there, you'd be able to place yourself your survival kit next to it. For example, that, because it's got a large pass through. And then again, in the menu, you'll just make a load of ingots. You'll obviously have to keep updating this just to make sure you have the millions, but you can, you know, if you press Shift and Control and click, you'll basically do it in the thousands, so you can just absolutely spam that thing and, you know, in less than 10 seconds, you have plenty. And that's a really, really good way of starting to get basic components. From there, you can upgrade to your basic refineries and your more advanced refineries, and this system is just very good for getting basic stuff early game. Another fun little tip, which I almost forgot to include, is when you're actually trying to mine the stone, don't go immediately for this, like this sand, or in the case like dirt or wet, depending on where you are. Because if you mine this stuff, you'll see you get like 26, 72, so like less than 100 stone altogether, where if you actually mined the actual stone, there we go, immediately that's 174, you can get much more in one go. At 220, you just get a lot more. 3 seconds run. That's fine. There you go. So you can mine all of this, so any of this resource here, that stone, and the same this stuff here. So I wouldn't mine any of this, or try and get down, if you have to, here as quickly as possible to get to this resource. Because this, again, will get you a lot more. There we go. Oh, there you go, 237, 264, compared to 40 and 36. Yeah, good tip there. Now, what about if you're looking for more advanced resources? You know, or maybe you want to, instead of getting stone, you're bored of getting stone, you want to get multiple different resources. Like iron, so you want to get more iron, more nickel, more silicon, or you want to get something like magnesium, cobalt, you know, silver, gold, that kind of thing. Well, you can find them on planets. The best place to find them on a planet, if I just change the weather, there we go. If you want to find them on planets, you've got to look for these little ore patches. Now, depending on the planet, and depending on the location on the planet, these ore patches may look a little bit different. I'll include some photos showing them on different planets with the actual name of the planet to help you understand where to find them. Also, certain planets have different quirks with them, so you'll only find certain resources in certain places. For example, on Earth-like planets, you can find ice lakes. So right here, nice big ice lake. That's the only place you're going to find ice. I think you can find them in ore patches actually, but they're quite rare. So yeah, best place to get ice is like that. If you want something like Pertam, the only place to find ice is in the aqua zone, so the places with really dark green grass. I'll also show a picture on the screen. Other things, another quirk about Pertam actually, is you'll only find ore deposits, so these white patches, in the rocky areas. You won't find them near the sand dunes or anywhere where there's a lot of sand. You'll need to look for the rocky places. So, as well as finding resources in the white speckled zones, or, you know, the ore deposits, you can also find big rocks or boulders on planets. Certain planets. Definitely the Earth-like. I believe Mars. I don't think Pertam has it. I believe they just have boulders of pure rock. You'll have to quote me if there's other ones, but with things like this, if you had something like a mining vehicle, for instance, my wheel loader, you can literally just drill into them, and they'll give you all the resources. It saves you having to dig hundreds or, you know, tens of meters deep down in the ground. Makes life quite easy. We dig into this rock right here. How deep? Down we go. There we go. So that should be deep enough. And you'll see here we've got magnesium, lots of magnesium. Plenty of that. And you get a decent amount of stone as well. And as you can see, they're just big rocks. And the final place you can actually get resources are from meteor impacts. So only if you turn that setting on in your settings, you can technically get meteors, which, you know, every now and again will come down. And sometimes when they explode, they can give valuable resources. That's one of a few ways you can actually get, I believe, platinum on a planet. Because that is another important thing. We can find rocks and we can find ore patches. However, only certain planets have certain resources on them. And each planet has their own percentage split between each resource. So I'll put a little image on the screen now. And that shows all the different planets. So you've got Earth-like, you've got Mars, Alien, Pertam, Triton, and then you've got the moon, so that's the moon around Earth. You've got Europa, which is the moon around Mars, and you've got Titan, which is the moon around the alien planet. And then you've obviously got space. And these percentages are how much of that resource on the left-hand side there is on the particular planet. You may notice uranium cannot be found on planets at all. The only place you can find uranium is in space. And only on moons can you find platinum. Well, only on moons and in space. So it's actually quite interesting, to be honest. One thing I didn't realise was Triton, you can't find cobalt. So if you spawned on Triton and you're looking for cobalt, good luck. And to be honest, that's a hard start because you're going to need cobalt to make any type of cargo box. So have fun with that one. And this brings us on to the next topic or tip point I'd like to make clear. So you've gathered all of your resources that you'd like, and now you've got them all in ore form and you want to process them. So you've got a couple of different options, haven't you? You've got your basic refineries, you've got your normal refineries, you've got all your modules, like you've got a speed module. Let's do this. You've got a speed module, you've got a yield module, you've got a power efficiency module. Now, what are all these? What do they do? Why do I need them? So, in the case of refineries, only the power efficiency and the yield module are important. Don't ever bother trying to put speed modules onto a refinery. They actually do completely nothing because you can't speed up a refinery faster than it already goes. So, you either have yield modules, which do basically what you'd guess, they increase the yield. Each one of these, I believe, increase it by 25%. And the power efficiency modules decrease the power that a refinery uses. So each power efficiency module do exactly 100% less, it takes 100% less power. So that means a maximum moduled refinery of power efficiency modules can only use up to 112 kilowatts while still being as efficient as a normal one. Where if you removed all these, that goes up to over half a megawatt, 560 kilowatts, which is actually quite a lot of power if you want to keep that running all the time. So definitely useful. But we're looking at, in particular for this test, yield, the base refineries and the normal refineries. Now again, I've made another little table because I'm so good to you guys making these tables. They take me a little bit, but they're very handy. So I've done a test with 1,000 of each ore processed through each of these refinery setups. So we've got the basic refineries, we've got the normal refineries and refineries with 4 yield modules. Just to sort of see what the yield rate of each material is and how each process method is affected. So for a basic refinery, you can process stone, scrap metal, iron, nickel, cobalt, silicon and magnesium. And then for the refineries, you can process all of them, but you can also process the silver, gold, uranium, platinum. So if you need any of them for higher resources, you're definitely going to have to do it in a refinery over one of the basic refineries. I also added the survival kit yield to the mix, just because obviously you can process stone, so it's an important measure to test. And looking through the table, a couple of things stand out which are pretty interesting. First of all, if you're wanting a lot of the stone, nickel, and magnesium and all that kind of stuff, don't ditch your survival kit for a basic refinery. You actually get less resources for your amount of stone. If you notice, the yield of a survival kit for stone is the exact same as the yield that a refinery gives. So a survival kit gives the same amount of one of these bad boys if you're processing stone. And a couple other things. So the basic refinery, you obviously get a lot less resources, like percentage-wise. The normal refinery, it's your standard rate. Certain resources like platinum and magnesium is another one I was actually surprised about. You get so little back from magnesium as you would think, because magnesium's not, I've always found not too hard to get, but I guess you don't need a lot of it. So, interesting. And then yield modules, you may be able to tell. With 4 yield modules, you're at exactly double, because if you look at the when you add all the yield modules, your yield rate becomes 200%. Who would have thought? But I just wanted to add that just to be able to make sure, all of these things are right. So if I can, I'll try and add each of these tables in the description down below, because I believe they're quite useful. They're going to be useful for me. That's it. That's for certain. But yeah, I hope this video was somewhat useful. I didn't want to go too in-depth with absolutely everything. Obviously, this is... I more or less just showed the basic way of mining. I guess the medium way of mining. I guess you've got your mid to late game way of mining, which would probably be a big drilling rig. You know, you'd find one of these ore patches, you'd have a big set of drills which dig down. And if you really want to have a different late game mining method, I would probably say have some kind of ship in space and have like cargo. You either just bring the ship up and down every time you want, you bring your resources down, or you drop like cargo boxes or something down from space and add like a parachute with maybe a couple of thrusters and a GPS and stuff so it like homes into your like a landing pad. That could be a cool test. I might have to mess around with that. But yeah, this, like I said, is going to be a mini-series, so we're going to go on a lot of the different blocks in this game. I'm going to add them all to a playlist, so if there's something in particular you're wanting to learn more about and you'd like me to make a video on, leave it in the description down below, and I'll try and make a video on it. But that is where we're going to end today's video. So if you did enjoy it, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps me out more than you think it does. And shows this little mini-series is one you're going to want to see continue in the future. As always, my name's been Quantum Chief, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!